What's up, people? We back. Art of the Matter Live, episode 9. This is the show by, for, and about artists that seeks to highlight the state of arts and culture from the artist's perspective. I am your host, T-Dub. I want to thank you guys for joining me. It's a beautiful Monday, May 16th, which is also, fun fact, Miss Janet Jackson's birthday. So happy birthday to Janet Jackson, my idol, my queen. She's everything. She is the blueprint. Yes, thank you. We definitely got to give a shout out to her. And yeah, it's a beautiful day today in Seattle. The sun came out, sun's out, fun's out, we out here. Yeah, it's been a great day. Celebrated my birthday this weekend, which was really, really fun. So thank you to everybody that got to hang out with me and kick it with me this weekend. I had a freaking blast. 35 is perfection so far. No complaints. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take this moment to get into a little drippy drip. Give me that wide salmon. Thank you so much. We in here. Got the Sweet Life joint thanks to La Gatsby. I made sure to get out to On the Block this weekend to get my custom, my one-of-a-kind On the Block Throwbacks Northwest tee. They had them on deck. You can only get them at On the Block, so make sure that you're there next month, June 11th. Every second Saturday from May to October On the Block is where you need to be on Capitol Hill because they're just giving it up. This weekend was so much fun. I had such a great time. As always, taking in all the art scene, all the art things, because that's what I do. But I can't be everywhere, right? So if you know about some stuff that's going on, if you know about, call for art, call for funding, art show, anything art related that's going on, make sure that you contact us when you can. And when you're here, the beauty of the live show is that we get to, talk back and forth with one another. So make sure that you're in those comments. Go ahead and put that overlay song on. Make sure that you are liking, commenting, and sharing Art of the Matter. If you love this show, I'm sure you know at least 2 people who will love it as well. So let's make sure we get the good word on the art scene out there to the people right here, Converge Media. Excellent. Yeah, so it's going to be a great show. We actually have our featured artist, Miss Kimisha Turner, joining us virtually. We're going to get into some art stuff with her here coming up pretty soon. I'm very, very excited to show you guys this episode 8, Art of the Matter, the Art of Curiosity with Miss Kimisha Turner. We got into all things love, family, art, the future, technology, you name it, we talked about it. We actually had a chance to sit down at the beautiful Wanawari in the CD and just, again, another beautiful day and just chop it up. So I absolutely love bringing this content to you guys. I'm so thankful for you guys that are joining us here today. Make sure you're getting them comments. Let people know that you're here. Let me know you're here. If you got any questions, anything like that, make sure you drop them in the comment section. And let's go ahead and have a great show. Right now, we're going to take a little break. And when we come back, we are going to be joined by featured artist, Miss Kimisha Turner. She's going to be joining us, and we're going to, get this thing started. You are watching Art of the Matter.
As a non-binary Black femme, a lot of my identity is rooted in body. Once the vaccine was introduced, it was really difficult to think in terms of safety as well as autonomy. As a Black American, the relationship with government is very complicated. It's hard to trust. A lot of these conspiracies are really impacting people making a decision, especially with Black folks, to be clear about what we're doing. I think it's just a well-rounded conversation to see what's best for us.
Hey there, it's Trey Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear.
Yo! CH the Great. This is, it's the truth with proof. The truth with proof, the truth with proof. If you nice with the sports, then he swooping through. He gon' highlight you. Ain't nobody live like us, fly like us. We gon' find you, put the city behind you. Let us know you got skills, we gon' be at a game. In the Northwest, we reppin' the city where it rain like.
right. Love those commercials. Shout out to Besa. I got the media mixer happening tomorrow, as well as Truth for Proof. Gonna be live tomorrow night. Love the Converge Media family. Thankful to my director, Mr. Salman, who reminded me that I forgot to give y'all the art news. So first, we're gonna get into a little bit of art news. Go ahead, hit me with that over. Yes. So there's been a lot of things going on in the art world here in Seattle. I've been able to compile a quick little list of some things. So this past Thursday, Angelina Villalobos opened her show, House of the Wolves. Absolutely incredible show. I got a chance to be there with her on Thursday night. Definitely go check it out. It's on view right now at BMC Gallery on Capitol Hill. Definitely make sure you check that out, as well as Emancipation Meditations, The Art of El Haz. Absolutely incredible show. Like, I can't even begin to describe how beautiful this artwork is. Shout out to Zahir. That show is on view right now at the Link Project in the Central District. Also want to highlight Kung Fu Kenny, Mr. K. Dot put out his album, just ridiculously incredible. Man, Mr. Brown, the Big Steppers. If you have not heard that yet, if you haven't listened to it 2, 3, 4 times, I don't know what you're doing with your ears. Like, this album is absolutely incredible. Came out at a perfect time because my birthday weekend, it was just like, it just cherry on the cake, cherry icing on top, all the things, just being able to celebrate my birthday with this beautiful compilation of music. So I definitely wanted to make sure to highlight those things with you guys. Now that we've done that, we've gotten into some art news. Let's get into some art of the matter. We have joining us virtually Miss Kimisha Turner. Let's go ahead and bring Kimisha in right now. What's up, sis?
Hey, okay, I didn't realize I missed your birthday. I'm so sorry, Queen. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. It's all
Love
good. You know,
you.
man, we had a beautiful, beautiful celebration. You know, I like to keep it nice and loose with the birthday. I don't like to plan too much. Just kind of
Yeah,
let things happen, you know.
I
So, but
get it.
it was a great birthday.
Dirty
Absolutely.
30s.
You know, we out here, man. It's incredible. But yes, I am also super excited. You know, another cherry on top of the birthday weekend month, whatever you want to call it. So I get to bring this episode, Art of the Matter, with
Yeah,
you. I'm so excited for you to see it. I'm so excited for everybody else to see it because we had an amazing conversation, and I wanted to just
yeah,
kind of get into like a little bit of a precursor first with you before we talk about that. But if you want to go ahead and just kind of give people like a slight introduction into who you are as an artist.
absolutely. Multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary. Grew up in the Seattle area. And I really like to focus on using materials as a way to expound upon my, I guess, what I'm trying to say with my art. I feel like we need a lot more empathy in the world. So I like to work on subject matter that I feel like everybody can relate to, and or if they can't relate to, hopefully through my art, they gain another perspective from somebody else's experience. Because I think we could all use that. But yeah. Now I'm on the East Coast, have a beautiful little son who inspires me every day, and part of VMC. Holla.
Yes, Living by the Collective in the building, man. We
Yes.
about to take over some things. I'm very excited
Yes.
for us as a community as well. But yes, Kimisha Turner, multi everything, and I like to do a thing with each episode where I subtitle, just kind
Oh,
of
okay.
give people a kind of idea of what it is. And so I subtitled your episode, "The Art of Curiosity," and the reason why I did that is because that's just kind of what I felt from how you approach art. You know, there's an air of curiosity even to the actual art itself. It kind of begs a question. You know what I mean? I think it
Absolutely.
makes people curious as well as, speaks to your curiosity about just the world and how to be in it, you know? So I think
Absolutely.
that felt fitting. Do you feel that was probably the
Oh,
same?
no, that's perfect. Absolutely
Yeah.
perfect. That's how I kind of go through life as well. Like I just want to know, and you don't know unless you ask, and art really
Mhm.
opens those doors for everybody. So, thank you. Well done.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yes, man. So Kamisha and I have actually kind of been in community for some years now, and I always love telling the story of how we kind of first met. Because I
Yes.
was actually with Taryn yesterday. So Taryn Renee
Oh,
Dorsey and
yes.
myself put together a little situation called Sister Circle, where we actually interviewed some women artists, creatives in the community. I want to say it was like 6 or 7 years ago, something
Yeah.
crazy. And
Yeah.
we actually interviewed you then. And that was our first meeting, and we just kind of been ships in the night up until
Right.
2020, of course, when we did the mural together.
Right.
So being able to be in community and be connected to you in those ways over the years has just been such an honor. So I definitely had to make sure I highlighted you and shouted you out with my
Ab-
platform with the show. You know what
Thank
I
you.
mean? So
Oh, and you're doing
thank
so
you.
much for the community as well. And and it is weird how Seattle's like that. We're like such a small city, but like we just kind of bypass each other and then we connect when it's time, the right time, you know?
Yes,
Beautiful.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm a firm believer in that everything happens when it happens for a reason, you
Exactly.
know. And speaking of which, we are about to get into this episode right now. Art of the
Yay!
Matter, episode 8, The Art of Curiosity with Kimisha Turner. Kimisha, do you have any words before we get into this episode for the people that are watching?
Just keep your mind open, your eyes and your ears open, and you know, it was a really, really enjoyable conversation. We could have talked honestly for another 5 hours if the planes
Right.
had let us. But it was amazing. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I would, you know, I can't wait to do it again and again and again.
Yes. All right. Well, let's get into it. Episode 8, Art of the Matter, premieres right now.
There's so many ways to execute a vision. There's so many ways to execute your perceptions or to create something that says what you're feeling and what you're seeing.
Right.
And it's really hard for me to create something only as a painting. Some things are meant to be paintings.
Right.
Some things are meant to be seen as a picture.
Right.
Some things are meant to be performance art and sung and felt.
And we got another plane. Yeah.
It's fine.
We are here at the lovely Wanawari with multi-talented, multidisciplinary, all the things, Miss Kimisha Turner.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Same thing about you, bro.
Oh, appreciate it. So you are back in Seattle.
I am.
You recently moved to New Jersey.
I did.
Yeah. How has that transition been for you?
It's been really good. It's been a challenge for sure. You know, as all transitions are, growing pains. But I think getting yourself in a different area code sometimes can be very eye-opening and also very humbling. But really good for my art soul. I'm from Olympia. I was born in Olympia.
Yeah.
But you know, went to Cornish, so Seattle area kind of thing. But yeah, and it's weird because it's like only the last few years where I really felt concentrated in the art world and everything. But now it's like, okay, well, let me do this on my own and let's figure out where this can be nationally.
Yes, absolutely.
And then hop back and forth and be able to do stuff back over here because that's the reason I'm back here is to do more art. So
yeah,
it's been a cool challenge. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that is a real thing of like, and I feel like all artists or people just in general from Seattle, from this area who are trying to establish themselves outside of here, it can be quite a challenge.
Yeah.
Actually. And let's go ahead and wait for this.
Yeah.
Since the mural and since, you know, moving to Jersey and, you know, you're starting this new life on the East Coast, you're obviously having to find new and creative ways to, like you said, capture that audience, you know, document your process and your practice and things of that nature. And one of the ways that you're doing that now is through Patreon. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about what folks can expect from Kimisha Turner Patreon?
Yes, absolutely. With the Patreon, you see backstage kind of, you know, what I'm creating, what's next. Also have a say in some of the pieces.
Yeah, interesting.
The cool thing about Patreon as well is that the longer you stay in a certain tier, you get some goodies that are created by me and that are exclusive to our patrons.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about like mental health is so important and it's just becoming more and more prevalent, thank God. I think art is part of mental health.
Yes.
And watching people create and how they create and how they get their own stuff out there is really, really cathartic.
Yeah.
So I think Patreon is a really great way for you to see that and then also support that artist. It's so important to support art.
So important.
You know?
being in an area that is so well resourced, you know, you can get comfortable here too. And I think that is probably an adage to that challenge of trying to get your artwork seen outside of it, because it's so easy to just kind of do things and just do it forever and just be here. But the goal is to, you know, connect with people outside of where you're from.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the big challenges I have to overcome sometimes personally, because I get so nervous when I meet new people. I don't always put myself out there, you know, and so moving is definitely like an ultimate challenge for me to like, okay, you're in the deep water now. What are you going to do with that? And, you know, I think the pandemic, honestly, too, that gave us all that extra challenge. Was like, you have a concentrated audience. What do you do with it now? You know, and I think there's some really amazing team members of VMC that have crushed that.
Oh yeah.
You know, doing their own vlogs and all that, YouTubes and everything. And so that's beautiful to watch and emulate and witness. And so that's kind of where I'm kind of going, is like, okay, well, what do I do now with the resources of YouTube, Instagram? You know, I'm older. I don't use all these apps as much. I don't have time to use all these apps as much, but that's just where technology is, and that's where social media and social art and all that stuff is. You know, NFT. I don't know what to do with NFTs, but I know I should do something with NFTs, and I should do it soon.
Right.
So what do I do? You know, so you know, we're the generation, or the generation after us as well, are the ones that have access to all this information, and all these resources. It's like, okay, well, how do I take advantage of all this? And it's the beauty of art. You could be really creative with all these different kinds of avenues and facets and everything. So yeah, I've been very blessed that I have some really supportive people that have my back, and I know not everybody has that, and I've been doing it for 20 years or so I have some history here in Seattle, so that's been such a blessing, to the point where I can come back and do work. But now it's like, okay, I'm competing against myself. What am I going to do that sets myself apart? But also, like, how am I going to stay in my lane and not kill myself over trying to do everything? Like, I haven't made anything new in a while. I've been kind of just figuring out how I can repurpose what I have just to build an audience. But people really want to see what your mind is, like what's going on in your creativity and why do you do things. I think sometimes I forget that part.
Let's talk about your art. Let's talk about Kimisha Turner, the creative.
I was always doing art as a kid, and my uncle was very, you know, he was very problematic. He lived with us. So there's some trauma that I definitely worked through artwork wise with that, but I have to give him some credit that he maybe every 5 years would make a painting. And his paintings were really kind of dark and weird and creepy. And as a kid, he had this one painting of a Hawaiian woman that her eyes literally looked like they were following you when you walked past them. And I was so scared because it was just hanging over the toilet. And I'd just be like, you know? But I remember as a kid thinking, I hate this painting, but also that's really cool that a painting is making me feel, I know it's not going to jump out at me. I know it's not going to hurt me, but this picture made me feel so like uneasy. How do you do that, you know? But that kind of sparked something. And then my mom was definitely an amazing support. She was my best friend, and like would just really encourage me. And so I started drawing and copying like tigers and stuff. Big cats were my thing. And then looking at magazines and drawing people and just starting to build a little portfolio. And then in schools I would do like art for the yearbooks and everything, but never took it seriously. Just it was my thing to kind of get away from whatever. And then as I graduated high school and was about to join the Army, my mom saw that there was an audition for Cornish happening, and me and my sister and my mom went down, and I got accepted that day. And it saved me from going to the Army, and also 9/11 that happened like a month later. So I didn't have to be deployed or anything. So it was like all these things that were lining up of like, wow, years of building a portfolio. She was like, you have a portfolio, you should just go show it to the art people, just see what they say. And so it was amazing how serendipitous kinds of things happen, because if I hadn't saved all that stuff, I would have nothing to show. And then when I have joined, you know, Cornish, I had this very surface level understanding of art was just, oh, it's just a pretty picture or a pretty photo. It wasn't, I didn't understand the conceptual part of, making art and why everything has its place, really. And how to understand different types of art that maybe at first it doesn't make sense to you. And then you realize, oh my God, that's the deepest thing I've ever seen, One piece I cried into vial over days, and I wrote in a little journal. So I collected tears over grieving and then put it in a book and carved a book out, and then, grew sugar crystals out of parents' ashes. I don't feel like me painting myself crying. For me, other painters who are incredible at what they do could absolutely get that, but for me, I don't think it would have come across as powerfully if I hadn't literally used my own hair and my own tears and my own ashes and all that stuff as part of the pieces to say, hey, I want you to really value this piece because it has literal ancestors in them and baked into them, and my tears, I want you to connect my process with the end result and why that was so painful but also powerful and cathartic, and I think all those things create why grieving is so important and why we should honor it, right?
What you just described of your artistic practice and how you kind of center the viewer's experience is really powerful, and I think it speaks to just like who you are as a person and how, welcoming and inviting you are when it comes to connecting with people, I mean, you talked a little bit about like your upbringing and things of that nature, but can you tell us a little bit more about why you think you are that way?
My mom was just the biggest supporter, ever. And it was me and my mom, my sister that were just like bosom buddies.
Yeah.
So I think having her have our back constantly and her always being so welcoming to just open door policy, talk to me about anything, literally anything.
Yeah.
I think her kind of bringing that out of me, like, hey, do what you do, fly away, do your thing. That was a huge confidence booster. My dad was extremely social, so I got a lot of that from him too.
Nice.
When I was younger, I always said, I'm so mad that I'm never gonna know every single person in the world. I don't feel that way anymore, but I understood from a young age how different everybody is.
Yeah.
And that I'll never understand your perspective unless I understand you,
You talked a little bit about parenting.
Yeah.
And you have a very special son.
I do.
Mr. Malcolm.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how having him and raising him has affected your artistic practice?
Yeah. He's such an amazing human, and he's so creative. And he has autism and ADHD, and that in itself is a really beautiful perspective of life. Like, it's a challenge, don't get me wrong, for sure. But it's also like, what goes on in your head? Like, how did you come up with that? I don't understand. This is amazing. Like, if I just had an hour in that boy's head, like, it's just incredible. And so that inspires me because he is extremely confident in his creation and his storytelling, and it's pretty incredible. And so to be able to bring him on projects or show him like, mommy's doing this and mommy's doing that and mom's an artist, and so that he feels confident that he could be a creative and make money at it, that's really important. Like growing up here in Seattle and having a mom that was born in Korea. She's Korean and Black. But we didn't really know until we just did like a DNA thing that she was actually Black. We knew she was Black, but we didn't know she was Black. Right. Because she was raised by a white woman, she didn't have connections to her Black culture at all. So me and my sister were not raised with connections to our Black culture, really. My dad is Black, but they were divorced and everything, and so we didn't really get to experience that until we came to New Jersey to visit family, and then we're like, oh good, we get to experience that part of ourselves, but always felt disconnected. So when I had Malcolm, I had this sense of like duty to like be like, okay babe, we're going to learn some more things together.
Right.
You know, I don't want you to grow up not feeling like you don't have a connection to your Black roots, to your heritage, to your culture. Mom doesn't know everything. I admit it. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to find my own self. I'm still understanding what Blackness is to me, because I think there's a thing in our culture where, you know, you're not Black enough. And it's really destructive because you feel like you have to be a certain way to be Black. And so for my art with Malcolm, it was like, you're a Black boy. I need you to feel like a king. Like, I need you to feel confident, because society will tell you otherwise. And they might kill you over it. And they might hurt, you know, put you in jail over it. And so it's important that we keep reiterating, like, who are you? You're a strong Black boy or a strong Black man. And you're smart, and you're fun, and you're loving, and you're not a threat. And but you are a threat. You know what I mean? Like, it's this balance of like trying to get him to understand, and it's a constant. I want to figure out how to be a millionaire Black women artist for me, and also help other Black women artists become fucking billionaire or whatever. And it's honestly just the principle.
Real talk. Principalities in this. Real, for real.
Not
for
that
real.
I don't believe that if you're well off, that means somebody else has to be not well off. And I know that that's kind of how money works, but I personally believe like there's more than enough for everybody if you have that kind of mindset. Right? I don't have to be a bajillionaire or anything, but I do deserve to be well off. I deserve to be able to provide for my son.
For sure.
To live a really happy life and to pay all the bills and not struggle.
And to thrive and not just be surviving. And I think that is what this time really has been. These past couple of years have really shown me and like slapped me in the face. You know what I mean? Of like, we've just been surviving. You know what I mean? Like the job, the 9 to 5, that cycle, it's just enough for you to keep going long enough for the institution to be able to thrive. But when everything stopped, the whole world stopped. I don't think people really focus enough on that aspect of what the pandemic was. The entire world stopped, and that has never happened. This time has definitely shown me, like, in so many different ways, the importance of what we do. And how, like, the minute those businesses got boarded up, we were the ones
that came in.
That came in. You know what I mean? So like you said, put some respect on our name. Like, our visual artists are really out here shouldering the world in a very real way. And like, you know, honestly, music don't be hitting the same. Movies don't hit the same. Food, sometimes it don't hit the same. But the art,
the visual art, you can't have all of that.
Exactly. But the way the visual art is hitting right now, you can't deny it. And you are absolutely right that we need to be appreciated and respected in that caliber. Kimisha Turner, I have to say, before we wrap all this up, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
For being you, honestly. And like, you've always like just been a light and been who you've described yourself to be, and like putting yourself out there, making mistakes and learning from them, and allowing other people to be on that journey with you.
Thank you.
I think that's what makes your art so powerful. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that. Seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking about like the I Am processions, and you know, the pieces that you've made over the years, the mural for Seattle Art Museum and the BLM mural, and you know how that's connected us. And like, you know, I think that you are definitely a force to be reckoned with when it comes to art, especially art by Black women, you know. So I look forward to your journey.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I you, darling. Seriously.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Wow. Episode 8. How do you feel, Kimisha?
Oh my gosh, a little teary-eyed. That was amazing. You guys did an amazing job. You guys are doing the work. I just thank
Oh,
you. Seriously. Like this, it's so important to talk to artists. It's just I forget all that stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't use if you're not given a platform sometimes to talk about your art, like why you do things, it's for me anyway. It's just always in my head, and I know why I'm doing it and everything like that. But then when you're given a platform to actually speak on it and share, it's just, ugh, it just feels so good. It feels so good, and that's why it's this show is important. So thank you. Seriously, a little teary
no,
eyed. It was
man.
amazing.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Kamisha, for sharing. And like you said, like, like most of the people that I've, interviewed or had conversations with on this show, I know in some
Yeah,
way, shape, or form, except for of course we went to Belize and I made some new friends. But
yeah,
like somebody like you I've known for a while, even like Kayla, like I learned so much about my people through this platform, and it's such a
yeah.
like eye-opening experience to be like, yo, I didn't know Kamisha had a Korean heritage,
Right.
I didn't know that, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you learn different things, and like I think something about the modality of it as well, like that particular type of interface
yeah.
uh just warrants a certain type of conversation. And sometimes people will dig a little bit deeper than they normally would if you were like at a club or at a gallery, you know what I
Right,
mean? Like really being
right.
able to sit down and get down to the art of the matter, with
Yes,
your
we're all
people. It's like,
onions. We're
okay,
all
yeah, with
shallots.
your
We're
people is
all the
so.
things.
Yes, it's so important. And like again, like the whole reason why this show exists is to like highlight this experience. So I want to ask you, like, having seen the episode, um we talked about a lot in the show.
Yeah,
Obviously, we talked about family and
yeah,
travel and the future and Black women artists being millionaires and billionaires. Come on, let's talk
yeah.
about it. But one of the things that I absolutely love is like the stuff that kind of happens behind the scenes that no one really realizes. And one of the things that was happening for us that day, because obviously we were outside filming at Wanawari, is that we had a barrage of planes going over us the entire time we were talking. It was
Literally
like,
every 2 minutes, like, we had to stop
man,
so
it
many
was
it was so
ridiculous.
funny. We were just like, "Okay, alright, universe, this is
Yeah.
hilarious." But, it was worth it.
Yeah, we definitely made it work. We definitely, thugged it out. And I definitely have to give a shout out to my editor and filmer, Brady McAtee, for
Yes,
making sure that
Brady.
he was able to integrate that little thing into the episode and make it a part of the show. I was like, there's no way we're gonna be
Absolutely.
able to cut all of that out. So let's just make it a part of the show because it was definitely a part of our experience.
Absolutely. It was
you know?
unforgettable. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful day. It was just honestly like and you were talking about serendipity before. Like I just love that we were able to make this happen when I happened to be there. It was just I don't know. Again, it was just a really good feeling to be able to just sit and talk art with a fellow artist as well. I think there's something
Yeah.
different there as well. Like you understand some of the processes and all this stuff that goes on when you're trying to create. So it's really nice to, have other artists pick your brain.
Absolutely, absolutely. I live for that, especially because people just have such fascinating stories, and you just talked about timing, and one of the things that I realized, like with regard to hearing your story, is like the timing of some of the moments of your life. Like you
Yeah.
talked about that moment before you enlisted into the army. You decided to go to Corners. Can you talk a little bit
Yeah.
more about that? Because I was just like, yo, like
Yeah.
insane.
Again, like art saved my life. My dad and my mom met in the army. So after college or after high school, again, I wasn't taking art seriously. And I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm really confused, blah, blah, blah. Let me just take a year off. And then my mom was like, well, you could join the army. And I was like, oh yeah, I could totally do that. I'll crush it. And then literally I was so close. I had already signed certain papers. I had already done testing, all the things. Like all I needed was like a physical and then like literally the last document to sign. And I was going to do it like the next week. And my mom just happened to look at the newspaper and was like, oh, hey, you should just see what they say. And it wasn't, I don't know if she was even thinking like you should go to art school. She was more like, hey, you have this whole portfolio. It'd be really cool for you to get like opinions on your work because, you're good. And it was just, again, she was my best friend. She was just amazing and just such a beautiful light in my life and so encouraging. And it was just the best day, just going up there with my sister and my mom, and then them being like, yeah, if you really want to go, you should go, and we'll let you in. And then celebrating that day, and then literally the recruiter called a week later and was like, hey, are you still down? And I was like, I think I'm gonna try this art thing, see how this works. And they said, cool, no problem. If it doesn't work out, call me later. And then a month later, 9/11 happened, and I get a call again. And I was like, yeah, it's not going to happen. So, you just got to follow your gut and your instincts and all of that. I'm so glad I told her, okay, let's just try it. You just never know where life is going to take you, based on one decision or split decision. Just incredible.
Seriously, man, just absolutely incredible. Like the fact that you might have been, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just wild. Like
Yeah.
you said, like life will
Art
take you some
saves
places.
lives.
Yes, it really does. Art absolutely saves lives. I can say that for myself as well. Another one of those amazing moments that happened in your life was in 2020. You decided to go ahead and leave your 9 to 5, and
Yeah.
then the pandemic happened.
Seriously.
Tell us
Literally.
about that.
Yeah, like literally had been planning. And again, this is when life throws a bunch of stuff at you and you have to
Mhm.
trust and have faith because I was having a lot of issues. My beautiful son was having a lot of issues at school because he had just started doing like general education. Because he's an amazing kid, but he has his own challenges. And I was working an hour and a half. I was commuting 3 hours a day, so hour and a half one way and back. And it was just
Mm.
so stressful to get a phone call at the school, like, hey, you have to pick up your son and all this. And I was just like, universe, God, whatever you believe in, is just pushing me in this direction. Like, I know I'm so unhappy when I'm not creating work. I know I'm never not going to be creating work. So I should probably just have more faith in myself and know that I can make some money at it and be able to provide for my son and be there for him more often. And so I started saving up like of about 6 months to a year and just made a plan. I was like, okay, I'm gonna quit in March of 2020. And then literally the weekend I quit, the week I quit, that next weekend, that's when Washington was shut down for COVID. And I say literally a lot because I do mean it, but I had been praying like, all right, I'm just going to trust you. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to really get started. I've been doing art, but always had a backup plan, always had a 9 to 5. So I'm
Mhm.
just going to put my faith in you, universe, God, whatever, angels. And I just, you got to help me out. And so when COVID happened, I was like, okay, so let's just make some videos, I guess. And that spurred on getting grants. Doing the videos got me some money here, some money there. Then got a call from Seattle Art Museum. Then got your amazing call, and it was just lining up. And again, I think that's kind of how life is. You have to have faith. You have to make a decision, put it out there, visualize it, and then have faith that it's gonna work out and get out of your own way. Easier said than done, but it's been working out so far.
Yes, I would say if it's working out for anybody, it's definitely working out for you because those are
Yeah.
just two absolutely incredible moments of like a fork in the road kind of situation. And like you said, universe is clearly on your side. Like,
Thank you.
man, um, we didn't get to talk about this in the episode, but I do want to, converse with you a little bit more about the I Am procession and kind of how that all
Yeah.
came together and like such a beautiful activation for women and women of color that you and Rachel put on. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you. So the I Am procession was more of um, it was a walk to really shout out who you really are as a woman of color, as a Black woman, and to have confidence in yourself and to make sure that we don't let colorism pit us against each other because it's a big
Mhm.
deal. And people who are not part of, a community, a Black community or Asian community or what have you, don't know what it's like to then be pitted against one another just for having lighter or darker skin. Um, so I was thinking, talking to my friend, actually Taryn as well, Taryn and Rachel, and I was like, would you guys be down if we just like had a procession of, women? And they were like, yeah, duh, we should totally do that. And that it just, again, you have an idea and you just have faith, and it came together so beautifully. And this was in 2016, and we did a walk and we ended up at the African American Museum, and it was really beautiful. And then 4 years later, especially with everything going down with COVID and just all the protests and everything, was like, I think we're due, especially Black women are really due to really shout out, hey, I matter and I'm beautiful and I'm bold and I support you as a sister. And we should dress up in our, best garb of, blue and white and gold. And really just show up and take up space. And so that's what we did. And we ended up, doing it in Central District, which is just amazing. And then ending up at Wanawari and doing a butterfly release, which we did at the first one as well, so that you can kind of see this beautiful transformation of you maybe being insecure about yourself or insecure where you stand as a Black person, Black woman, and then letting go and just becoming this beautiful, it might sound cheesy, but it was really powerful, beautiful butterfly to just say, yeah, I'm a queen and I'm going to show off, and be proud of it. And yeah, it was really powerful. And then we did the one on the pier as well. We got to be the first activation on the new pier downtown. And so we did an I am procession and then an I am on the water. And yeah, both of them are amazing. I think I have both of those those videos too on my YouTube. If not, I will make sure they are there. But yeah, you guys should take a look. Takio is part of it. It was just, yeah, it was incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah, I did get to participate in the most recent I Am procession. And again, it was just an amazing experience. And you talked about it, like, as a Black woman, just being able to show up to a thing and that being enough. I feel like so often we have to give so much of ourselves in the spaces that we inhabit, whether it be family, work, community, whatever the case may be. Like, we have to give so much. And so to create an opportunity for women to just show up and that be all you needed to be. It was just very, very important. And it really meant a lot to me to be a part of that as well, just to be able to walk with the women. And, the butterfly release was gorgeous. The day on the waterfront was just absolutely affirming. And we sat, we meditated, and we screamed, and we shared. And it was like friggin' fantastic. So I'm definitely looking forward to more of that, coming up. I'm sure you're going to do more pretty soon. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Now that I'm on the East Coast, got to make it, national, maybe international. And honestly, it was really cathartic for me too. I think we talked about just where you fit in the Black community and all that. And so I think we talked about in the interview as well. Sometimes you feel like you don't belong, or you feel like you're just not part of something. And sometimes you just have to be like, I just need to take up space. I just need to be here just for my own sanity and say, yeah, I'm actually worth it, whether you think so or not, and acknowledge too that society plays tricks on you, and you're the one that can change that perception just by your own confidence. And, I'm working on my own confidence as well. It takes a lot of work, but that's what that piece was. So thank you for being part of it.
Thank you. And the community definitely helps, in that journey of confidence and self-acceptance and self-assurance and self-awareness. Having other people affirm that for you it just means that much more.
Absolutely.
So thank you again. We're going to take a quick little break. We're going to come back with more of Kimisha Turner, more of Art of the Matter, and get into some more Q&A. We're going to check in with our audience. So stick around. We'll be right back.
The breathtaking new musical, Afterwards, is the story of the art we make from the love that shapes us. When three women discover unexpected truths, a dazzling mosaic of intersecting lives reveals itself. Featuring a revelatory and soulful new score. Don't miss the world premiere of this captivating new musical, Afterwards, at the Fifth Avenue Theater, April 29th to May 21st. Tickets at fifthavenue.org.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here, and before heading to Belize, Trey Holiday and I had to make sure we linked up with our good friends over at Market Street Shoes to, of course, grab a few things for the trip. From bags to socks, shoes, sunglasses, earrings, and more. Before going on any trip, make sure you stop at Market Street Shoes. Trust me, you'll find just what you need to make your trip not only enjoyable, but fashionable.
Yo! CH the Great. It's the truth with proof. The truth with proof, the truth with proof. If you nice with the sports, then he swooping through. He gon' highlight you. Ain't nobody live like us, fly like us. We gon' find you, put the city behind you. Let us know you got skills, we gon' be at a game. In the Northwest, we reppin' the city where it rain like.
Yes, sir. We are back. Art of the Matter live with Kimisha Turner. One of the things that I wanted to get into with you, Kimisha, I've been wanting to figure out how to speak to this, on my platform. And of course, here at Converge Media, I'm pretty sure everyone is going to be talking about the situation that happened in Buffalo with the mass shooting. 10 people lost their lives. It's obviously something that is shaking a number of communities as well as ours here. And, I just felt it was important to talk about it because
Yeah.
these types of situations affect us so greatly. You don't have to be there to feel it. You know what I mean?
No.
And I'm feeling it right now. And like,
Yeah.
I just so happened to be like in bed enjoying my birthday, scrolling on my phone when I found out about it. So to go from such a high to a low is also something that we have to, try to navigate in our lives. And a lot of people don't have to deal with this. So I wanted to make
Yeah.
sure that, we spoke about it here. And, one of the projects that you've done recently, you spoke about it on the episode, was about grief. So I wanted to
Yeah.
just kind of ask you, how does this situation affected you, and how does grief play into that for you?
Man, like when I first saw that too, immediately it was like, oh my gosh, we're in New Jersey. We're close to that, and we're not that close to Buffalo, but you know what I mean? Like it just kind of hit a little bit because during 2020, you had all these protests. We're doing so many amazing things and trying to, uh, progress the culture and progress, I don't know, American culture in general as well, and all of that. And you kind of sit on your laurels a little bit, and then not that you forget that this stuff happens, but you have a little break. We had a little
Mhm,
break, and then all of a sudden, and
mhm,
it's hard. It's really hard because all these different laws that are passing right now, taking women's rights, and then the Don't Say Gay bill, and all these little things. It feels like we are totally regressing, and
mhm,
then talking about how critical race theory is like harming children and all that stuff, and it's bull. And this goes to show, with this kid being 18 years old,
right.
why we really need critical race theory in
Mhm,
schools to really educate our children and say, hey, let's not let history keep repeating itself. Let's keep
mhm,
putting this at the forefront, that people have biases that are deadly, that people have prejudices that, hurt other people, that we can't just push it under the rug and, care about, what's happening at the Johnny Depp trial and all this stuff. Like, I don't know. It's hard because you don't, it's traumatic. You don't want to keep reliving trauma over and over and over again. Like,
mhm.
sometimes just watching trash TV is fun, but then all of a sudden something like this happens and you're like, oh God damn it. Now you're thrown right back, into that reality. So it's scary. All I can do personally, because that was a grocery store. It's not like you're
Mm,
instigating anything. You're just going to do your business. Like,
right.
all I can personally do is try to help educate people in the way I can through my art, and then honestly pray every day that I
Mhm,
am safe, that my family's safe, that my friends are safe, that we make it home just from the grocery store, from the movie theater, from just walking down the street. Like, it's traumatic. It's traumatizing. And it's really, really, really sad. And I can't imagine what the family that's going on. And it feels like it's like there's not a lot of talk going on about it right now. I don't know. Maybe I'm
mhm.
wrong, but it doesn't feel like it feels like everybody's just kind of like, oh well, and
Yeah.
it is so disheartening. It's so sad. People have died in our protests in 2020 for this kind of thing, and now it's like crickets.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I just don't. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, man. It's definitely one of those things for me of like, I'm in a position now where, I have a platform. I need to say something, but I don't even know
Yeah.
what to say.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you say to that? What could you possibly say?
Right.
It's like these people are just going to the grocery store. And I think one of the people that lost their lives was a former police officer,
Yeah.
and he actually tried to, intervene as much as he could, and
Yeah.
it didn't turn out well for him. So, just thinking about the ripple effect that this will
Yeah.
have for those families and for that community, and just wanting to make sure that, we speak to that. And, we here in Seattle at Converge Media, we see you, we are with you,
Right.
and we're on your side, and it's like,
Right.
what do you say again? Like, I don't even know. But and then just thinking about, grief and how
Yeah.
people, there's a process, there's a human process that takes place with something like that. But when
Right.
we get to a point now where it's like 2020, literally 2 years later, we're still going through the same shit,
Yeah.
and there
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be an end in sight, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of resolution in sight. It's
Right.
like, what do you expect people to do? So
Right. It's almost as if like all the protests kind of like I don't know. It's like all the things that are happening right now with rights being taken and people just kind of turning a blind eye. I don't know. I feel like sometimes it might be just repercussions of us like standing up for ourselves, and
hmm
then just be like,
hmm
well, we're going to show you though. You're going to have a lull, and then we're going to show
yeah,
you like we still have something over you. And
yeah,
the fact that people can sleep at night and be like, critical race theory is harmful because you're making kids feel bad
mm,
about like, and it's like, but it, you're literally just trying to deny real history. Like this is
literally,
just history. We're just saying like stop rewriting it so that people
right,
don't go and shoot up churches and shoot up people. Like, can we just
yeah,
live? Like, can we just go get our tomatoes and without fear that somebody with a military garb is going to come in and so that on top of
yeah,
being I try not to live in fear, but you think about it, especially thinking about kids, and we talked about in the interview your black boy and all of that, and it's just like God, there are just so many things that you
hmm
have to think about. You're trying not to worry about, but damn, like
yeah,
what the hell? So I did this thing for Seattle where I was talking about, how the 2020 affected me and everything. And I think one of the things that kind of affected me was a lot of my friends that are not Black or people of color, they got so uncomfortable with the things that I was saying online.
mm,
And a lot of them were amazing and were comfortable and just like, get it, thank you for speaking up. But
right,
there was also a good number that I literally don't talk to them anymore, and it was so disheartening. That was like a gut punch and a heart punch as
yeah,
well because they just they don't understand and they're too afraid to understand. And they're too
hmm
afraid to not to be called out, but just be like, "Hey, this is really happening and I need you to like back me up and be a good friend." And I know I'm not the only one that feels that way, when you post something
hmm
and you get crickets, and then you post
yeah,
something really funny and cheesy and everybody likes it. And
right,
so
right,
I would encourage, those people who have, Black friends and friends of color to really just sit and humble yourself and listen to the stories and listen to what we have to deal with
hmm
and be empathetic because it's so lonely and
yeah,
sad and you just feel attacked constantly.
hmm
Yeah, I know. I just had to say that because it's just I feel like if we could all just do that, and that's where art comes in. Art is that's why
right,
art is so important. Is because if I can't reach
absolutely,
those friends by telling them right now through this media or to their face, hopefully I can reach them via art and show them like,
right,
hey, this is why I'm grieving. This is why I'm stressed out. This is why I'm sad. This is why, this is why I'm going hard on, showing my son that he's a beautiful Black man and Black boy. Like, not just saying it. It's so that he
yeah,
can live and enjoy a long life.
literally. Literally, because that type of positive reinforcement and positive energy creates a shield of protection,
Right.
in a real way. And like one of the things that I try to practice in times like this, especially since everything that's been going on in the past couple of years, is just loving on my people hella loud
Yeah.
and hella hard.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you're doing that, then you're doing good. you know
Right.
Even if you don't have all the answers, even if you don't know everything, even if you've never studied critical race theory, if you're loving on the people around you, you are doing good, you are doing right.
Right.
And what that
Supporting
what
each
that
other.
kid did is not love.
No,
you know
that's
and
evil.
his soul is in question, like K Dot said, your soul is
Amen.
in question. Okay,
And I guess one
so
last thing I want to say about that real quick too is that
right,
it is frustrating that um not that I wanted to kill himself or anything, but it is frustrating. There's that
right,
whole other layer of they talked him out of shooting himself, they took him
right,
away. If it was a Black person trying to buy,
Yeah.
sell cigarettes on the street. You know what I mean? There's
Yep.
so many layers to it that hurt. It's like
Mm-hmm.
somebody is attacking, somebody is hunting us, and then those that are supposed to protect us, again, they should have, not that they're supposed to let him kill himself, but it's just the way they react. There's such a
Right.
difference. And then they're talking about, oh, well, maybe he had mental health issues. Okay, whatever. He was racist and he was attacking.
Right. Also,
He's a terrorist.
yeah,
Yeah, like there's an
literally.
issue of terrorism going on in the Black community and
Mm-hmm.
in the Asian community right now. There's just
Mm-hmm.
oh, we could talk about this for so long. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So I just want to say I hope everybody sleeps well and that you are able to find some solace and love in your life and you're able to not let these kind of traumas like keep you down. Because
Mm-hmm.
it literally is debilitating to your cells.
Real shit. And share it. You know what I mean? Share it with the
Yeah.
people around you. Like you said, like we can't shoulder everything on our own, right? And I feel like communication is like the most important thing in my life right now. And just being able to speak to how I feel, being able to speak to what I need and what I want,
Yeah.
from life and from the situations around me is like such a great tool for not letting that burden, get
Yeah.
you way too down. So thank you again, Kimisha, for talking with me about that.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah, before you go, I want to try something different. This show is live. We try things. We do a little different
Okay.
things here and there. So I got a quick little Q&A for you.
Oh,
We're gonna do a
okay.
nice little rapid fire kind of situation.
Oh, okay.
Don't feel like you need to go too fast, but
Okay.
just don't take too much. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So first question: what's your favorite color?
Oh, that is such a hard one. It changes all the time. I think right now it's like gold and also turquoise or teal,
Beautiful.
but I think gold. It's like I'm feeling really goldy right now. Yeah, but ask me in
Cool.
like 3 months and I'll be like amber. I don't know,
Yes,
but
that's
yeah,
exactly why I want to ask all my artist friends this question because I know the answer is going to be something similar.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Definitely. Okay. Question number 2. Name one artist you look up to.
That's really tough, man. Kara Walker, I mean, I feel like that's an easy answer, but she's just so dope. Her
Mhm,
work with the sugar and her beautiful silhouettes, and it's just I really like making work that kind of makes you uncomfortable,
mhm,
but that's beautiful. And so I was just so drawn when I first saw one of her pieces, was just like, I love that. The precision and how
mhm.
she cuts the things up, and then yeah, and the work is just uncomfortable. You look at it like, "Oh, I don't even know exactly what you're trying to say, but I know exactly what you're trying to say." I
Right.
love that kind of stuff, and so she's amazing. I have never been to a show of hers. I would love to.
Mm.
But yeah, if that's an easy answer, just Kara Walker. She's
Yep.
amazing.
Kara Walker. Okay, cool, cool. What's your favorite medium right now?
Ooh. I think I'm really loving sculpture right now. I think I need to get into it some more. I love painting, I love murals, but I'm loving this kind of dive into epoxy and using hair and bubbles and all this stuff and glitter. So I think sculpture is the thing I'm into at the moment.
Dope.
Yeah.
Okay. A final question. What 2 things can you not live without?
Pickles and oh my God, and Malcolm. That's such an easy answer,
Oh,
but Malcolm and pickles.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect answer. It's so you, and I love
Yeah.
it. I love that for you.
Thanks.
Kimisha Turner, thank you so much for joining me this evening for Art of the Matter Live. I'm gonna talk to you soon, sis. All right.
Yeah, love you guys.
Be
Bye.
well. Okay, we're going to take a quick little, actually, we're 60 seconds out. So that's the show. Thank you guys so much for joining us for Art of the Matter Live, episode 8 with Kimisha Turner. I want to give a quick shout out to Irene Torres, who I saw in the comments, said something about the show, helping her through her process, through her day. So thank you, Irene, for always tuning in. We always see you in there. Appreciate you as always. Everybody who was in the comments, Mama T Dub, Proof was in there. Everybody who was in there showing love to the show. We always appreciate you guys. Yes, this has been a great episode. Thank you always for tuning in to Art of the Matter. Thank you for supporting Converge Media. Amazing show. And make sure that if you want to get in contact with us, you can do that as well. We actually have a quick little overlay for that too. You can contact Art of the Matter at all all the things on IG and Twitter. If you got any news, if you got any updates, got any art shows going on, definitely let me know. I love to be a part of the art community in that way. And I will give you a quick little sneak situation for episode 9. I got to sit down with the queen, Miss Barbara Earl Thomas. So Monday, May 30th, Art of the Matter, episode 9, Miss Barbara Earl Thomas. We're going to get into all things art with the OG. So once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I have been T-Dub. Stay creative.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.